Hi, it's Richard here from Fearless Speakers, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about how you go about finding places to speak and also what you might want to think about once you've delivered your talk. Now, finding places to speak isn't necessarily my forte. It's not something that I really coach my clients on, but I do have one particular idea that I thought I might share with you in this video. And this is particularly going to be of relevance if you're a business owner who wants to use their talk to create more awareness of your particular business. So I'm going to give you a little example here. Let's say you were a nutrition coach and you wanted to give a talk about how to create a great nutrition, let's say meal plan for working out. So what you might do is approach local gyms and say, hey, I'd love to give a talk on this topic. Now, what's the great thing about that? Well, firstly, the people who you want to get to actually talk about this subject, they're likely to be gym members, right? They're going to work out and they might be thinking about how can they best sort out their nutritional needs. So that could be an ideal client base for you to talk to. So what the great thing about that is that the gyms aren't in the same business as you, but they do have a crossover of clients. So they're not going to be your competitors and vice versa. So they might be perfectly happy. In fact, they might be really enthusiastic about you giving this talk, because the great thing is that you can add value to their existing client base. So have a think about that if you're a business owner. What are the particular industries that have some kind of crossover of clients or clientele with you, but aren't in exactly the same industry? So let's now think about what you might want to do after you've given the talk. So I like to always have a little bit of self-reflection after I have given a talk, and I'll think about how did it go, what went really well, and also what could I change, how could I improve it, what could I tweak to make it even more impactful. So obviously the power of self-reflection is great, but what's even more powerful, I would say, is external feedback. So for example, if you had an organizer of the talk or the evening or the day, whatever it is, you could ask them directly, hey, how did you think it went? Is there anything do you think I could change about this? If you're allowed to, you could also hand out feedback forms to the audience. And that's also a great way for you to collect contact details if the audience will allow you to do that, if they're willing to give that detail to you. So external feedback like that is great because that really gives you an idea of whether the talk landed in the way that you wanted it to and whether there's anything you could change to make it even more impactful. The final thing I wanted to talk about in this video is repurposing your talk. So this is something I talked about briefly in the first video. So as I said, a signature talk is typically 10, 15, 20 minutes long, but it could also form the basis of something shorter or of something longer. So for example, you might be asked to give a session for an hour. Now in that situation, probably what you want to be doing is adding in some kind of audience interaction, exercises, something for them to do or think about, because actually just sitting and listening to you for a whole hour is probably quite draining for a lot of people. So adding some more kind of interactive content might be a great way for you to bulk out your 10, 15, 20-minute talk into something more like an hour. Alternatively, you might, let's say, go to a networking event where you are given the opportunity to talk about yourself for 5 minutes. That's quite a typical thing that might happen. So then what you need to do is essentially distill down your signature talk into the bare bones. What is it? What is the real kind of just bare bones of what you want people to leave with? And can you fit that into 5 minutes? Again, I think that's probably easier to start from a starting point of a signature talk than it is to draft that 5 minutes from scratch. So there's a couple of ideas of how you could repurpose your signature talk once you've given it. So in the final video, I'm going to be telling you what's next. I'm going to share a little bit about what I do and how I could help you to develop your really impactful signature talk.